Oh my God. Can you even imagine it? When your calloused fingers wipe away the spilled soup stain on the chipped wooden table, your heart bleeding because the Sorbonne dream is crushed under the mountain of debt your father left behind. In the noisy Upper East Side diner? That's Esther, 26 years old, the invisible waitress with a sharp French philosophical debating talent, but now just a ghost in cheap polyester. The worst customer, Henderson with his pinstripe suit and condescending tone, turns lunchtime into hell. Then the lost French lady appears, and one perfect Paris phrase from her flips the board. But if the silent guest in the corner of the diner is the key to real Paris, would you dare follow? Lila Harlan pushed open the heavy glass door after a 12-hour shift. Las Vegas, the city of glittering and shattered dreams, swallowed her every night, every cocktail, leaving only a layer of golden dust on her long lashes. Lila, 28 years old, with tousled brown curls tied high and weary gray-blue eyes, trudged along the scorching sidewalk of the Strip, where drunken laughter from the casinos echoed like mocking whispers. She was a bartender, a master of smooth shaker pours, but behind that alluring smile was a soul bleeding, trapped in a whirlpool of debt and the pain of losing her mother. Neon Oasis wasn't your ordinary bar. It was a living illusion in the Nevada desert, where tourists flocked to forget real life with overly sweet mojitos and pounding EDM music. The curved bar gleamed like a silver crescent under hundreds of color-changing LED lights, and the cocktail scent, spicy rum mingling with tart sweet passion fruit, laced with seductive hookah smoke, clung to Lila's skin like an unremovable cloak. Every evening, as the sun dipped behind distant mountains, she stepped into that world, cinching her glossy black leather apron tight, and became part of the act. The Las Vegas girl, alluring, mysterious, always ready to pour a drink to soothe a stranger's loneliness. But behind that facade, Lila was a closed book, its once vibrant pages now yellowed under the weight of memories. 3 years ago, she was a star student at UCLA, majoring in psychology and linguistics, dreaming of becoming a cultural consultant, bridging lost souls through ancient languages and deep psychological stories. She could read a person just by how they held their glass, analyzing gestures like a linguist decoding hieroglyphs. Afternoons in the Westwood Library, she immersed herself in books on Freud and Fellini, dreaming of an office in Los Angeles where she helped exiled Italian artists or European tourists reclaim their identity. Then, like a sudden desert storm, her mother, the resilient woman with a warm smile and melodic Italian storytelling voice, passed away from a heart attack in the dead of night. The massive medical debt, hospital bills piling up like dust, pulled Lila from California's shores and threw her into the rough arms of Las Vegas. Now, she crammed into a rundown trailer park on the outskirts, where rusty mobile homes lined up like abandoned dreams under the blistering Sunday. Her trailer, a cramped space with peeling wallpaper walls and a musty smell from warped wooden floors, was shared with Riley, her college best friend, now a cocktail waitress at a nearby casino. Riley, with her fiery red hair and explosive personality like fireworks, was the sole lifeline keeping Lila from sinking deeper. They plastered on alluring smiles through graveyard shifts, where dreams were just fragments under high-heeled shoes, cheap outlets bought heels, now worn flat from nights trudging from bar to home at dawn. Every morning, as the Las Vegas sun scorched the desert, Lila woke with a headache from echoing music in her ears, checked her dwindling bank account, and wondered if today was the day she'd send another payment on the debt her mother left behind. The job at Neon Oasis wasn't hell, but it was a gilded cage. Lila worked nights, from 8 p.m. to 8 a.m., shaking the shaker in a familiar rhythm like a religious rite, mixing margaritas for drunken tourists and arguing couples under dim lights. She learned to read them, the Wall Street businessman with scotch on the rocks, hiding loneliness behind loud laughs, the lonely Midwest girl ordering a cosmopolitan to forget her divorce. That was her talent, that psychological linguistic skill. But here, it was just for tips, a well-timed smile, a light joke about this drink will make you forget all your troubles. Occasionally, amid the rush, she alone thought of her UCLA Italian classes, murmuring Dante under oak trees, or analyzing gestures in Fellini films to understand human pain. Now, that knowledge lay dormant, like an old suitcase under the trailer bed, dusty and forgotten. And then, like fate's wicked joke, Those small moments, a guest's clumsy Italian story, an Amaro sip reminding her of mom, reignited the extinguished flame. But Lila snuffed them out quickly, because dreaming in Las Vegas was like roulette, flashy, but often ending in ruin. She stepped into the dark trailer, collapsed onto the worn sofa, Riley already asleep beside her with a half-finished wine glass. Desert moonlight slipped through thin windows, illuminating her face, and in that moment, Lila wondered, would there be a night, amid clinking glasses and swirling smoke, when a guest saw through the facade and pulled her from this whirlpool? Or would she forever be the ghost behind the bar, where dreams were just illusions under neon? Dear viewers, pause for a moment to hit subscribe before diving into the main story, but only if you truly empathize with what I'm sharing here, and drop a comment below to let me know where you're watching from, and what time it is now. It's fascinating to see folks from everywhere joining us. The bass from the subwoofer thrummed the wooden floor of Neon Oasis like the heartbeat of a wild beast awakening. As Lila Harlan plunged into the late-night rush, the moment Las Vegas devoured the souls of wanderers under neon lights, the silver shaker gleamed in her hand, twirling in a deadly waltz amid the crowded throng, where sweat and cheap perfume mingled into a suffocating fog. A hard shake, and the crimson cosmopolitan slid across the bar like a slow-motion bomb, landing in the hands of the Texas tourist girl with a toothy grin, eyes sparkling under smudged mascara. Lila smiled back, a smile honed through hundreds of nights like this, but inside, it was just a thin shell masking the exhaustion gnawing at her bones. The drunken tourist crowd surged in like a tide, each carrying invisible baggage of shattered dreams. The middle-aged guy from Chicago, shirt rumpled, ordering neat scotch to forget his cheating wife. The young couple from Florida, hand in hand but eyes distant, whispering arguments over casino bills before calling for 2 tequila sunrises to make up. Lila moved among them like a ghost, high heels clicking rhythm on the sticky floor, hands mixing non-stop, a spoonful of sugar, a lemon slice, a vermouth swirl, all in a rhythm so familiar she could do it in her sleep. But sleep, in Las Vegas, was a luxury only the lucky had, and Lila wasn't one of them. She read them through small gestures, the way that guy gripped his glass like clutching the last thread of hope, or how that girl glanced at her watch, counting minutes in a rotting marriage. And then, like a recurring nightmare under flashing lights, Victor Kane appeared, the most obnoxious customer, a middle-aged businessman in a perfectly tailored gray Armani suit but a face twisted with envy of his own wealth. He sat at the bar's end, elbows claiming half the space, and from the moment he entered, the air around him grew heavy like thick hookah smoke. "Martini, dry, and don't make it too cold this time," he growled, his shrill voice drowning the pounding EDM from the DJ booth, where beat drops thundered like desert lightning. Lila nodded, professional smile glued to her lips, but inside her, a wave of disgust surged. Victor was the kind of man Las Vegas bred to thrive. Arrogant, always asserting power through petty complaints, as if sending back a drink compensated for nights alone in his hotel suite. Staring at the ceiling, wondering why success tasted so bitter. She shook the shaker again, ice clinking like mocking laughter, and set the martini before him with a plump green olive, perfect, by the unerring recipe. But Victor arched a brow, fingers drumming the polished wood bar, and pushed the glass back toward her. "Too cold. Cold as the hell you're living in. Remake it, and this time get the manager out here." His words lashed like a whip, sharp and unprovoked, making nearby guests glance over, some chuckling as if it were part of the late-night entertainment show. Lila swallowed hard, heat rising from her neck to cheeks, but she didn't falter. She'd learned to turn those moments into survival games, smile wider, mix faster, and whisper a light joke to soothe. "Oh, sir, this time I'll make it warm as a desert kiss. Promise." Victor huffed, but fell silent for the moment, his eyes raking over her like she was just a temporary fixture in his world. Amid that whirl, Riley rushed up from behind the bar, fiery red hair tousled under LED lights, whispering urgently in Lila's ear while wiping a wine spill. Chaotic order at the VIP table. 3 old fashions, 2 mojitos, and that guy's demanding another bartender because service slow as a turtle. "You okay? You look ready to explode." Lila sighed, a deep breath that ached, rubbing her temple where the headache throbbed like endless bass. "Fine, Ree. Just Victor putting on his nightly show." He thinks complaining makes him feel bigger. Riley smirked, a mischievous grin laced with worry, patting her shoulder before dashing off with a tray full of tall glasses. They were the dynamic duo at Neon Oasis, Lila with her precise mixing, Riley with her whirlwind speed. But even that bond wasn't enough to dispel the hell loop. Cheap come-ons from some drunk. "Hey, sweetheart, this drink's for you." Disdain from rich jerks like Victor, service here worse than the casino across the street, and pounding EDM like non-stop lashes on her weary soul. In the bar's darkest corner, where neon light barely filtered like lost stars, Damien Voss sat alone, a figure utterly different amid the chaotic sea. He wasn't boisterously showy, didn't yell into his phone or wave for service. He just sat there, simple whiskey glass glinting under dim light, observing. His eyes were sharp as a blade, sweeping the crowd but lingering on Lila more than once. Not the leering gaze of a tourist, but a deep analysis, as if reading an unfinished film script. Lila felt it fleetingly, each time she weaved near that corner to clear empty glasses, a chill running down her spine. Who was he? A lost Hollywood producer, or just another rich guy finding amusement in the chaos? She shook her head, pushing the thought away, focusing on the next drink, a sparkling blue lagoon for the lonely girl at the bar's end. But amid clinking glasses and drunken laughter, Lila didn't know that tonight, that familiar loop was about to tear open with a flung-wide door, and a lost guest would turn Victor from nightmare into catalyst for something bigger, more terrifying. Was she ready when the neon began to fade, revealing the true shadows of dreams? The Neon Oasis glass door burst open like a slow-motion bomb amid pounding bass, carrying a blast of scorching desert wind laced with fireworks smoke from the nearby Cirque du Soleil show. And then, amid the throng, an elderly Italian man stumbled in, like a ghost from a bygone century lost in the garish neon world. Signore Rossi, in a faded gray wool suit and lopsided fedora hat, eyes wide with bewilderment under thick bifocals, clutched his worn leather bag like the only anchor in the chaos storm. He staggered toward the bar, shoulders hunched from age and anxiety, his stammering Italian rising amid the EDM like a discordant melody from a forgotten symphony. Scusi, Dove, Hotel, Tour, Perso. Disoriented after the surreal show with aerial artists soaring overhead, he turned wrong into Neon Oasis instead of the Bellagio Hotel, phone dead and his mental map now just blurred Rome streets. Jax, the fresh-faced bartender with messy undercut hair and a fake dragon tattoo on his wrist, stood frozen behind the bar, eyes round as if the old man spoke Martian. Jax was straight out of Phoenix, knowing only basic Spanish phrases from taco joint waitering days. And now, facing Signor Rossi's rapid Italian barrage, he stammered back in clumsy English. Sir? Table? Drink? No Italian here, man." He fumbled through the order pad, hands shaking as if fearing the old man would vanish like a desert mirage. While the crowd began noticing, a few tourists chuckling, one tipsy girl whispering to her friend, "He looks like lost Santa Claus or something." The bar air, already stifling with hookah smoke and clinking glasses, added a layer of Vegas-style humorous tension. A lost Italian grandpa in gambling paradise, like the Sin City's destined joke. And then, like a wolf scenting prey, Victor Kane muscled in from his end stool, his bulky frame looming like a gray-suited wall. With a smug, twisted smile, the grin of men who thought they ruled every conversation, he clapped Jax hard on the shoulder, shrill voice drowning the music. "Let me handle it, kid. I know some Italian from an app on my phone." Victor pulled out his iPhone, fingers tapping furiously into Google Translate, and then, with the confidence of a bad stage actor, turned to Signor Rossi, spewing mangled app-learned Italian, warped like a botched cocktail recipe. "Signor, casa. No, wait. Vieni qui, siediti. Hotel. Is, Dove. Haha, old man. You lost? This is Vegas, not Venice." Those words, distorted through his heavy American accent, rang out like a drunken waltz, turning the old man's genuine confusion into public farce. The crowd around erupted in laughter, some clapping along, Victor puffing his chest proud as if he'd saved the world, while Signore Rossi flushed red, hands trembling on his bag, eyes glistening with deep shame. The shame of a proud Italian who'd wandered Florence's cobblestone streets, now turned into a clown under cheap neon. Lila, shaking a shaker at the bar's end with a sparkling blue lagoon in hand, felt that toxic vibe spread like thick smoke. Her heart clenched, not just from the mangled Italian, the language that had been her companion in UCLA afternoons, murmuring Dante under oaks to soothe loneliness, but from Victor's brazen arrogance, turning the old man's lost pain into a weapon for showboating. It was the final straw, igniting the dormant soul in her. The girl who'd analyzed gestures in Fellini films to understand human loneliness, buried under cocktail dust and medical bills. With a smooth motion like mixing a perfect martini, Lila set the shaker down, metal clinking wood like a decisive note, and weaved through the crowd, shoulders brushing drunken bodies, carrying a faint passion fruit scent like a gentle invitation. She stopped by the old man, a warm smile blooming on her lips, not the fake bartender grin, but a real one, from her mother's melodic Italian memories, who once recounted La Dolce Vita over espresso. And then, that voice flowed out, not the weary even English of Las Vegas, but smooth Florence Italian, clear as the Arno River sparkling under sun. Signore Rossi, mi scusi il disturbo. Sono qui per aiutarla. Sembra che si sia perso dopo lo spettacolo. Il cirque, vero? Non si preoccupi, le spiego tutto. The air around the bar fell suddenly silent, as if someone hit pause on the EDM mid-beat drop, leaving only astonished whispers from the crowd. Victor's mouth gaped, iPhone nearly slipping from his hand to the floor, while Jax stared at Lila like she'd turned into a wizard. Signore Rossi's face lit up like Tuscan dawn, his hand grasping her arm gently, overflowing with gratitude. A torrent of emotional Italian pouring out about the Rome tour group lost after the show, phone battery dead, and fear of being left alone in a strange city. Lila listened, truly listened. Not the half-hearted bartender ear, but a psychological linguist's ear, analyzing every trembling gesture, every pause in his voice to understand that deep loneliness. She soothed him with gentle whispers. Va tutto bene, signore. Las Vegas è grande, ma non crudele. And with a deft nod, poured a free Amaro, the bittersweet liqueur gleaming under LED lights, evoking small Italian bars where life slowed to breathe. She seated him in a secluded spot at the dark bar corner, where Damien Voss still sat quietly observing, and quickly called a cab via the house phone, giving clear directions in warm Italian, like an old friend guiding home. As Signor Rossi left, he pressed a tiny silver tour badge into her hand, a symbol of gratitude, but Lila gently refused, just smiling. È un piacere, signore. Buonanotte. E sogni d'oro. That moment spread through Lila like a warm Amaro sip, awakening the dormant soul, making her feel alive for the first time after countless weary nights. She returned to the bar, eyes glancing over Victor's flushed angry face, but she just politely served his new martini, ignoring his muttered condescension. Damien, from the dark corner, nodded subtle approval, a small but sharp gesture like a blade. Lila thought it just a small victory, a glimmer amid neon. But if that kind moment had awakened something bigger in the shadows, would Las Vegas's darkness let her hold on to it? All right, dear viewers of mine, if you're watching and finding this story intriguing, comment number 1, or I'm still here to keep listening, yeah? The cocktail glass clinking suddenly hushed around the neon oasis bar, as if someone yanked the pause button on Las Vegas's jukebox, leaving only astonished whispers spreading like slow-dissolving hookah smoke in the stifling air. Lila Harlan stood there, hand still lightly on Signor Rossi's arm, her smooth Italian voice echoing after like the final note from a cut-off aria, while flashing neon danced on the old man's face now softened into a trembling, grateful smile. The crowd, used to Vegas chaos plays, from drunken fights to casino scams, now gawked at her, as if Lila had become the surprise star of a street magic show. Jax, the new bartender, gaped with the shaker still dangling in his hand, passion fruit drops hitting the floor like his awkward sweat. Victor Kane, the gray-suited businessman with a face now flushed like an upturned Bloody Mary, clenched his fist till knuckles whitened, eyes stabbing Lila like boardroom daggers he dominated. His arrogance, honed over decades climbing Chicago's corporate ladder, now shattered under that moment's weight. A bartender, whom he saw as invisible, had stolen his spotlight with a language he only knew from an app, Victor's companion, a bleach blonde in a sparkling sequin dress but now with a twisted, embarrassed smile, covered her mouth in a soft giggle, eyes averting like witnessing a dark comedy where the lead turned himself into the joke. From behind the bar, the head bartender, a plump uncle with curly mustache and Tabasco-stained apron, poked his head from the mixing station, eyes twinkling rare delight, whispering to Jax, "Our girls just shut Victor up good, kid." The bar air, once bubbling like Cajun soup, now settled into an electric hush. Every eye on Lila, turning her from serving ghost to unwilling plays center. Lila felt that weight, like electricity down her spine, awakening nerves numbed long under cocktail dust and sleepless nights. But she didn't falter. Instead, she gently released Signore Rossi's arm, guiding him to a high stool in the dimmer corner away from curious gazes like swarming moths. The old man sat, shoulders relaxing for the first time since the door burst. And in that moment, Lila poured the final Amaro, the bittersweet liqueur shimmering under LED. Evoking afternoons her mom recounted Italian tales over warm espresso in the trailer park. "Grazie mille, signorina," he whispered, voice quivering with emotion, pressing a generous tip into her hand. 200 crumpled dollars, rolled tight like a silent thank you from distant Florence streets. Lila shook her head gently, fingers lightly pushing the bill back, her smile warm as a lullaby. "Non è necessario, signore. È stato un piacere. Just a pleasure. That's all." She bid him farewell with a light bow, melodic Italian like a tune from La Dolce Vita, and as the cab rolled up outside the glass door, carrying him amid gleaming traffic, Lila felt a cool desert breeze slip through the crack, easing some of the stifling smoke in her chest. Back at the bar, Lila took a deep breath, passion fruit and rum still clinging to her skin like a familiar cloak, and faced Victor again, not with hostility, but the smooth courtesy of a bartender who'd learned to turn poison into honey. He sat there, face still flushed, muttering sarcasm under his breath. "You think you're Vegas's Greta Garbo or something?" But Lila just smiled, setting his new martini before him, plump green olive gleaming like a subtle challenge. "Sir, this time a bit warmer, like a true desert kiss," she whispered, voice light with Vegas humor, enough to soothe his rage without bowing. Victor huffed, but lifted the glass, sipping and turning away, his arrogance now just a cracked shell, revealing rare shame under flashing neon. The crowd eased back to familiar rhythm, drunken laughter rising, shakers clinking again. But Lila sensed the small shift, like a crack in casino glass where real light seeped through. From the dark bar corner, Damien Voss still sat motionless, his whiskey nearly empty, but eyes sharper than ever, sweeping Lila with a subtle nod, unflashy, just a lightning-quick approval gesture, as if he'd witnessed a perfect scene in an unwritten script. As he rose to leave amid the throng, he left on the bar a crisp $200 bill for the simple $3 whiskey. Generous tip, no explanation, just a quiet mark amid chaos. Lila tucked the bill into her apron pocket, smooth paper brushing her skin like a vague promise. And for the first time after countless weary nights, hot blood flowed in her veins, awakening the soul dormant under neon dust. It was a small victory, a glimmer amid Las Vegas's fake stars, where she didn't just serve drinks but touched a real person. But if that kind moment had awakened something bigger in the shadows, would Las Vegas's darkness let her hold it, or swallow her back into the familiar whirlpool? The moment Las Vegas began devouring its own chaos, leaving only golden dust on the sticky wooden floor. Lila Harlan, shoulders slumped under her now frayed black leather apron, shuffled around the bar's end, white rag gliding over red wine stains like unhealed wounds from the long night. The EDM had faded to lone jazz notes from old speakers, echoing like the city's weary whisper, while Jax, the new bartender with caffeine-dulled eyes, fumbled stacking silver shakers on the back shelf. The bar air now just heavy silence, laced with fading hookah smoke and tart sweet passion fruit clinging to Lila's skin, reminding her that tonight, despite the burst with Signor Rossi, was just another loop in the endless desert of deferred dreams. She wiped the bar one last time, motion so familiar it was nearly unconscious, calloused fingers gliding over the polished wood where Victor Kane once sat, now just an empty stool with an empty martini glass, trace of shattered arrogance. Lila smiled faintly to herself, a rare, real smile, recalling Damien Voss's approving nod from the dark corner, and the $200 tip he left like a vague promise amid chaos. It was a small victory, a glimmer amid garish neon, enough to dispel some bone-gnawing fatigue, but not enough to fill the deep void. The void of distant UCLA afternoons, where she analyzed human gestures as a linguist, not just using it for tips from drunks. Jax, locking the cash register with metallic clinks, suddenly paused, hand holding something gleaming under dim LED, a slim silver envelope, fragile as a metal butterfly wing, sealed with a sharp silver wolf emblem. No name or address, just a neatly wrapped secret amid Schiff's litter. "Hey, Lila," Jax whispered, voice mixing curiosity and fatigue, handing her the envelope like a timed bomb. "The guy from the dark corner, he came back 10 minutes ago, while you were clearing the VIP table. Said give it straight to you, and if you didn't take it, then, just deliver it." Lila frowned, fingers brushing the smooth silver paper, cool under tips. A strange feel amid her rum and passion-fruit world. Damien Voss, the quiet man with script-reading analytical eyes, had returned? She shook her head, thinking it just a Vegas prank, where rich guests sometimes left odd gifts to feed mystery addictions. But that paper weighed heavier than a generous tip, as if carrying an invitation from another world. She slipped out the bar's back door, cool desert air slipping through cracks carrying dust and distant fireworks scent, and leaned against rough brick wall under hazy security light, fingers trembling, tearing the seal. A slow, almost ritual motion, as if opening a door she wasn't sure she could close. Inside, 2 items gleamed like Hollywood script props. First, a thick black card, dark as desert night, with embossed silver wolf crest above and below, in sleek silver minimalist script. Damien Voss, CEO, Voss Media. Lila's heart skipped a beat, breath catching in her dry throat. Voss Media wasn't just an entertainment company, it was Hollywood's empire, blockbuster producer and streaming series overlord, where her psychology dreams once sparked at UCLA now turned into million-dollar scripts. Damien Voss, the reclusive legend with films touching audience souls through subtle psychological layers, was Beverly Hills' hidden myth, building an empire from forgotten stories. It was him, the quiet guy in the bar corner, with simple whiskey and unflashy observing eyes. The second item sent her blood rushing like an overshaken shaker, a confirmation for a private Learjet 85, departing McCarran at 11 a.m. today. Destination, LAX, Los Angeles, Hollywood's heart, where palm-lined streets once played her dreams before Mom's passing, and debt pulled her into desert whirl. Tucked in the ticket fold was a small handwritten note, black silver-toned, decisive forward-leaning script in shimmering silver ink. "Your talent for reading people shouldn't waste on ordinary cocktails, Miss Harlan. A voice like that belongs in Hollywood, where real stories get told. A limo will wait at your trailer park at 9 a.m. This isn't an offer. It's an invitation." Lila read and reread, mind spinning like a nearby casino roulette wheel. Distant city roar fading to bewildered whisper. This had to be a joke, an elaborate, cruel one from a rich guy toying with lost bartenders. Maybe Victor Kane egged on for revenge on her Italian moment. But how did he know her trailer address, jet costs, or her buried psychology dream pain? She stumbled home under silver desert moon, envelope clutched like a thorny talisman, and as the trailer door creaked open, Riley curled on the sofa with droning reality TV background. Lila knew tonight, the loop had truly torn. But if the invitation was real, would she dare step into the 9 a.m. limo, or let Las Vegas swallow her last chance? Lila Harlan stumbled along, worn flat high heels clicking erratic on cracked pavement. Each step a betraying whisper from Neon Oasis, where glass clinks still echoed in her ears like the sleepless city's mocking laugh. The silver envelope clutched tight in her hand, smooth paper now dust-stuck, heavy as a timed bomb she dared not drop. Her heart pounded erratic, not from 12-hour shift fatigue, but from Damien Voss's invitation, the quiet corner bar guy, clawing at the safe shell she'd built around mom loss pain and medical bills piling like desert sand. The trailer door creaked open, a familiar sound nearly comforting, exhaling stale coffee and burnt toast scent from mourning everyday traces of a life Lila once thought endless. Inside, the cramped space like a twisted matchbox, with peeling wallpaper walls and worn sofa where Riley curled, phone glowing in her hand, lighting fiery red tousled hair face. Reality TV droned background, dramatic arguments from tiny screen echoing clumsy copies of their lives. Fake Las Vegas girls, glittering under neon but hollow inside. Lila slammed the door, sound ringing like a wake-up shot, and Riley bolted up, eyes wide in cheap lamp, dim light. Sleepy voice laced worry. "Lila, you're late. You look like you saw a ghost, or Victor drove you nuts again." Lila didn't answer, just staggered to the chipped wooden table mid-room, surface scarred from nights they sipped $2 wine, recounting distant UCLA like an old movie. She dumped the envelope contents out, gleaming items scattering like desert stars, black silver card with wolf crest, Learjet ticket to LAX, handwritten note script decisive as Hollywood blade. They lay there, shimmering under flickering fluorescence, alien world amid mom's leftover medical bills, pale white papers with glaring red numbers, stacked like tombstones for her psychology dreams. Riley rushed over, red hair whipping shoulder, and as she picked up the card, Riley's eyes widened shock, then swiftly to panic, emotional storm exploding on that familiar face, like Cirque du Soleil fireworks bursting mid-peaceful dessert. "Oh God, Voss Media? Damien Voss, the billion-dollar producer? And private jet ticket to LA?" Riley whispered, voice cracking to hushed shriek, hands trembling reading the note, face paling under moonlight through thin window. Initial shock swiftly turned deep suspicion, like protective shell Riley, pragmatic casino hostess with mama bear instincts, always built to shield Lila from Vegas illusions. "This is a trap, Lila. What kind of Hollywood stalker is this? Some rich guy hears you speak Italian to the old man and thinks, oh, this girl's good for drug parties or underground porn. Or worse, trafficking, weird cult, or just Victor's prank revenge. You can't be serious." Riley paced the tight space, hands raking hair like banishing nightmare, eyes flicking over table bills, red numbers reminding mom's medical debt pulling them into this trailer whirl. Lila slumped onto the sofa, weary body melting into worn cushions, and admitted silently, the note touching deepest pain, "Your reading talent shouldn't waste," like sweet knife slicing her 3-year bartender shell. He'd heard, truly heard her smooth Florence Italian amid neon oasis chaos. Not for flirt, but seeing buried UCLA soul under cocktail dust. They argued, Riley's voice rising like EDM bass, worrying hacked trailer address from bar cams or billionaire background check. "He knows where you live, Lila. That's stalker level, not fairy tale." While Lila countered in whispers, hope glimmer flickering amid fear, like neon-piercing desert fog. She traced the ticket, LAX images sparkling in mind. Palm Streets where linguistics dreams once thrived, now one short flight away. Chance to pay debt and reclaim self. Glancing around trailer, flaking paint walls, rum-stained uniform dangling by door like weary night ghost, Lila felt reality's weight, safe but stifling as midday desert. Riley was right, real risks. Strange rich man with Hollywood empire could be nightmare in disguise, but the invitation was also escape. Cracked door to world where her talent wasn't wasted on over-cold martinis. Argument eased to heavy silence, Riley sitting beside, hand gripping Lila's like sole lifeline. And in that moment, amid TV murmurs and desert wind whistling cracks, Lila whispered decision, voice firmer than ever. "Go, try once," heart pounding like overshaken shaker. But if invitation real, was this trailer park final home? Or just temporary stop before Hollywood storm? Are you still here, dear audience? Cue me. Pause and relax a bit. Maybe grab a glass of water, then listen to the captivating content. Comment number 1 if you find this story intriguing. Don't forget to hit subscribe to the channel. She bolted up on the worn fold-out bed, heart pounding like an overshaken shaker. Silver envelope still lying still on the chipped wooden table beside mom's leftover medical bills stack. Last night, amid Riley's whispers and desert wind whistling through door cracks, decision formed. Not sudden storm, but quiet Arno River overflowing banks, sweeping away 3-year bartender shell. Lila reached for phone, fingers trembling dialing neon oasis, voice ringing in voicemail to manager. Short farewell, shaky but laced strange excitement. "I'm quitting, effective immediately. Thanks for everything. She hit send, and that instant, like sudden EDM bass drop in familiar track, brought wild freedom feel, like desert wind whipping tousled hair, dispelling neon dust clinging to her soul. Las Vegas, city swallowing her UCLA dreams, now just old chapter, ready to turn. Riley, fiery red hair tousled and eyes still sleepy, rushed from sofa hugging Lila like best friend clutching desert star before dawn. They dove into packing, chaotic but sacred ritual in trailer's tight space, where Lila's old suitcase rolled forgotten under bed like relic from distant UCLA trips. She stuffed hasty bar outfits, black silk shirt, rum-scented, faded jeans from strip-trudging nights, and soul-black dress, last remnant from student days, now faded but hugging like reminder of dream-analyzing Fellini woman under Westwood Oaks. Riley, mama bear instincts honed through casino shifts, dragged out old duffel from closet corner, stuffing energy bars and water bottle, in case you're stuck on jet with vegan billionaire, she joked, mischievous grin laced worry, like Cirque du Soleil fireworks bursting amid fear. But joke's thin shell. Riley snuck GPS tracker into Lila's phone, fingers swift on screen like amateur hacker, whispering protective spell. Call every 2 hours. Send location if weird, and if no word, she'd call Vegas cops, or worse, drive to LA, and punch that Voss guy. Lila hugged tight, warmth spreading like last night's Amaro, knowing Riley's sole lifeline in lonely desert, witnessing her buried dreams under cocktail dust and now unearthing them. Right at 9 a.m., Nevada sun, scorching dirt road to shimmering mirror. Sleek black Mercedes Maybach limo loomed before trailer park like beast from another world. Engine purring soft, tinted windows hiding secrets. Black-suited driver stepping out opening rear door with smooth Hollywood gesture. He asked no name, just polite nod. Miss Harlan, we're ready when you are. Voice deep warm with California accent, as if knowing her story before silver envelope touched hand. Lila breathed deep, old suitcase rumbling on cracked pavement, and as she slid into cream leather seat, trailer park shrank in rear view. Rusty mobiles, flaking paint, Riley's waving silhouette from window, small gesture heavy as wordless promise. Ride to McCarran smooth as floating dream, limo gliding past waking, strip with coffee-handed tourists, but for Lila, all blurred slow motion, neon dead under sun, casinos gleaming now dissolving illusions, fear-laced excitement surging like underground Colorado River churning desert sands. They skipped main terminal, veering to private jet area, isolated world with glossy runways and pristine white planes idle like metal swans. Voss Media's Learjet 85 gleamed in sun, curved fuselage like silver blades slicing Nevada sky, and flight attendant, mid-40s woman, with warm smile and elegant gray uniform, welcomed Lila at stairs. Voice gentle. Welcome, Miss Harlan. Mr. Voss arranged everything for your comfort. Jet interior minimalist luxury masterpiece. Vast cream leather seats, polished walnut gleaming, subtle silver accents echoing card's wolf crest. Lila sole passenger. Luxurious loneliness enveloping as engines hummed soft, propelling forward with astonishing thrust, and in blink, takeoff, soaring above desert clouds. Below, Las Vegas shrank to glittering neon carpet, lights once devouring her soul now vanishing like sunlit mirage. And Lila leaned forehead to window, tears rolling unchecked. Not regret, but freedom. Freedom she thought died with mom under medical bills. Attendants served airborne breakfast, smooth caviar on crisp toast, bold espresso like UCLA Italian memory whisper, passion fruit smoothie evoking neon oasis scent but now pure, dust-free. All like absurd dream, world where her reading talent wasn't wasted on over-cold martinis, but nurtured like blockbuster script. But as jet sliced clouds toward LAX and distant Beverly Hills, Lila wondered, was Hollywood true paradise, or just another neon layer, ready to devour her deeper? California sky stretched like deep blue silk canvas, tearing Nevada desert clouds as Learjet 85 descended LAX runway with engine's soft whisper, gentle landing jolting Lila Harlan, as if soul yanked from Las Vegas neon whirl and blink. Just 45-minute flight, but for her, stretched like drawn-out noir film, white clouds drifting window like past UCLA whispers, recalling Westwood afternoons wandering with psychology book in hand, Dreaming Hollywood, where human stories told through subtle gesture language. Below, Los Angeles sprawled living dream, winding roads shimmering under blazing golden sun. Distant Pacific, sparkling like shattered diamonds. Hollywood sign dangling on Hollywood hills. Giant white letters, now not distant symbol but real invitation. Heart pounding like overshaken shaker. Attendant smiled warm, clearing leftover caviar tray, and as jet door opened, warm California breeze rushed in, carrying sea salt mixed jasmine from distant Beverly Hills gardens. Freedom breath Lila once thought only in Fellini films. Car waited in airport's private area, black Rolls-Royce Phantom gliding smooth through LAX traffic chaos, where tourists jostled suitcases and fledgling Hollywood dreams. Lila slid into rear cream leather, old suitcase lonely beside like uninvited guest, and as car sped 405 freeway, city unfolded like living script, blockbuster posters plastered billboards, convertible tops down ferrying young laughing faces under sun, green palm rows waving like old student friends. But behind glamour, Lila sensed creeping unease, as if LA, not paradise, but psychological film, where shiny shell hid deep cracks, just like she hid mom loss pain under neon oasis cocktail dust. Car turned into Beverly Hills, serene streets with pristine white villas tucked behind wrought iron fences, finally halting before modern glass castle gates. Voss Estate, architectural marvel, where glass and steel blended lush green palms, reflecting afternoon sun like giant mirror illuminating intruders' dreams. Driver opened door smooth, and Lila stepped out, worn Vegas high heels sinking slightly into cobblestone path, bougainvillea pink blooms cascading like stage curtain. Iron gates auto swung open, leading maze garden with reflecting pools and gleaming abstract statues. Alien world from dusty trailer park, where desert wind once sole companion. Heart raced faster climbing glass steps, and main door, frameless massive pane, swung open before touch, exhaling cool air-scented sandalwood and old books, like greeting from unwritten psychological novel. Standing mid-vast marble-floored foyer, natural light flooding from glass dome, was Damien Voss, not quiet corner bar guy with simple whiskey, but sharper version, deep gray cashmere sweater hugging tall frame and perfectly tailored black trousers. His face, closer under California sun, revealed faint lines around sharp brown eyes, traces of script reading all-nighters, or perhaps secrets Voss media empire hid behind blockbuster shell. "Welcome to Hollywood, Miss Harlan," Damien said, deep warm voice echoing foyer like classic noir dialogue, faint smile ghosting lips, unflashy, just enough to ease Lila's rising bewilderment. He was younger than imagined, late 30s maybe, with neat black hair and contemplative air exuding from empire builders from forgotten stories, like how he'd seen through her Italian amid bar chaos. Lila stammered reply, voice small amid soaring ceilings and hovering abstract paintings like dangling dreams. "Thank you, Mr. Voss. The flight. Wonderful." But words echoed feeble, and Damien nodded, eyes sweeping her with subtle analysis. Not Vegas tourist leer, but producer-sizing new character for million-dollar script. "Call me Damien. You're tired. Housekeeper will show you to the suite. Tomorrow we talk details. About why you're here." He gestured lightly. And mid-40s woman in elegant gray uniform emerged from hallway shadows, leading Lila up spiral glass stairs, each step reflecting her face. Strange version. Gray-blue eyes now sparkling under California Sunday. Upstairs suite heaven of glass and velvet, wider than her entire trailer park. King bed with cream silk sheets. Balcony overlooking infinity pool shimmering afternoon sun. Bookshelf crammed old film scripts. Brown leather tomes with scrawled handwriting from famed screenwriters. Lila dropped suitcase to floor, collapsed onto soft sofa, bewilderment surging like Pacific waves crashing Beverly Shore. Beautiful glass cage, everything gleaming but fragile, and Damien Voss, with probing eyes from below foyer, not rescuing hero but director of larger play, where she just unclear supporting role. As sunset dyed window glass red, Lila leaned head on velvet pillow, wondering, was corner dark bar invitation opener for success script, or just prelude to tragedy film where her UCLA dreams shattered again under Hollywood sun? California sunlight flooded suite's large panes like molten gold river, waking Lila Harlan with sparkling rays on cream silk sheets, strange, luxurious feel jolting her, as if lost in opening scene of indie film Mom Loved, where lead wakes in unfamiliar apartment wondering if dream truly ended. She sat up, brown curls tousled over shoulder, hand gliding soft velvet sofa, where trailer park old suitcase lay lonely like uninvited guest, reminding Nevada desert dust now hundreds miles away. Espresso coffee scent from ready breakfast tray on small table wafted, bold like UCLA Italian memory whisper, but today carrying unease. Damien Voss, with probing eyes from yesterday's foyer, not dark bar corner rescuing hero, but secret full director, ready pushing her into untested role. Lila donned soul black dress, now feeling tight amid glass and palm world, descending spiral stairs, each step reflecting her new version. Trembling but resolute, like lead in UCLA analyzed psychological script. Damien's library downstairs, vast space where books and film scripts stacked like paper towers. Natural light from glass dome, illuminating dusty brown leather volumes. Fellini scripts, scribbled notes to Hollywood dossiers gleaming under time's dust. Damien sat behind glossy walnut desk, slim iPad in hand swiping gleaming numbers, face focused near severe, like producer weighing blockbuster's final scene. He looked up as Lila entered, gesturing light nod. Smooth wordless motion like cut dialogue in final edit, pointing opposite brown leather armchair, where she sat, heart pounding like neon oasis EDM bass, but now gentler, laced California excitement. "Good morning, Lila," he said, deep warm voice echoing shelves, setting iPad aside focusing fully on her, sharp brown eyes sweeping like reading new character's first gesture. "Sleep well? Our espresso not as bad as Vegas cocktails, I hope." Lila nodded, swallowing before that space's weight. Library not just book storage but Voss Media Soul, where classic Italian stories blended modern streaming revenue, evoking her buried linguistics dream pain under rum and passionfruit dust. Damien leaned forward, fingers drumming light on desk like scripting dialogue, explaining, not dry numbers, but vivid images, like director storytelling lead actress. Voss Media in final stages acquiring Cineroma, classic Italian film studio on Rome outskirts, where black and white reels once captured Resistance Soul and Fellini legendary plays, now teetering collapse under digital age weight. Owner Isabella Rossi, no coincidence with last night's lost old man, but 75-year-old widow with groomed silver hair and eyes sharp as Florence Blade, fiercely opposed. Seeing deal as crude invasion of family legacy, where each frame not revenue, but Italian art breath threatened by Americanized streaming. "We have hundreds of translators," Damien continued, voice lowering like whisper in dark theater. "But I need true bridge, reading Italian culture, not just language, but gestures. Soul pain, like how she clutches late husband's old leather diary, or eyes gliding over La Dolce Vita poster on studio wall." Before Lila could reply, library door swung open, with sharp high-heel clicks on marble floor, sound slicing scene like abrupt cut, and Chloe Voss entered, Damien's sister and Empire COO, tall figure in tailored Dior suit hugging curves and slicked-back black hair, exuding icy authority like noir ice queen. Her gray eyes swept Lila with lightning disdain glance, like grating B-script amid Oscar pile, lingering on brother with shrill voice laced British-American boarding accent. "Alexander, you're late for streaming team meeting. And this, your secret bridge?" Chloe no wait explanation, plopping opposite chair, crossing legs smooth power move, turning to Lila, smile sharp as shattered glass. "So Miss Harlan, brother thinks fluent Italian line in Vegas bar saves billion-dollar studio, or just his quirky taste for bartender fairy tales." Lila swallowed hard, heat rising neck to cheeks like last night's overcold martini, but held steady, voice even like analyzing UCLA gestures. "I studied linguistics and psychology at UCLA, specializing reading culture through gestures, like how Mrs. Rossi might clench hand mentioning Fellini. Not anger but fear losing studio soul." Damien nodded slow, as if words confirmed envisioned scene, but Chloe just arched brow, mocking voice ringing like bar crowd snickers. "UCLA dropout now bartender? Oh, great trailer story, but this Cineroma deal, not inspirational flick. Mrs. Rossi slammed door on our M&A team over white sneakered guy, And now brother thinks you, with cocktail skills, build trust. Insult landed like rough cut, but Lila unflinching. UCLA's soul once dormant under desert now rising. Sharp as Florence blade, she'd murmured in Dante poetry. Damien interjected soft, voice firm like director holding film pace. Chloe, this not translation. Understanding, what our team lacks. But as Chloe rose, heels clicking away with final disdain glance, Lila wondered, was this first Hollywood role trial, or just prelude to offer changing everything? Success or shatter, like unedited final frame. All right, dear viewers of mine, if you're watching and finding this story intriguing, comment number 1, or, I'm still here to keep listening, yeah? Lila Harlan sat still in brown leather armchair, heart beating like action film drums building climax. Bartender shell from Neon Oasis now thinner than ever under Damien's analytical gaze. He leaned forward, hand resting light on scribbled note-filled old brown leather Fellini script, like weighing decisive scene for billion-dollar film. And then, his deep warm voice rang out. Not dramatic dialogue, but director whisper to lead actress. This not glittering Hollywood vacation but harshest trial Lila ever imagined, where her Italian culture-reading talent would bridge Cineroma deal. Or noose for buried UCLA dream. Damien explained slow, each word like finely edited frame, that if Lila helped team build trust with Isabella Rossi, turning cold streaming numbers into Italian soul stories the widow could touch, then Voss Media would grant her cultural integration specialist role. 6-figure gleaming like Hollywood star. Enough clearing mom's medical bills stack and pulling her from dusty trailer park. More, he'd fund finishing linguistics degree at UCLA, turning interrupted Westwood afternoons reality, office overlooking Pacific, analyzing Italian film gestures instead of reading drunken tourists at bar. Offer spread through Lila like morning's warm espresso, touching deepest pain. Not just money, but escape from desert whirl, where her dreams once shattered like Victor Kane's over-cold martini hand. But Damien paused, eyes darkening like sudden scene transition, reminding failure meant what? Immediate jet back to McCarran, returning Neon Oasis with clinking shaker and pounding EDM, where her talent forever wasted on ordinary cocktails. Before Lila could swallow full weight, Chloe returned from glass hallway, like unavoidable family script ghost, iPad gleaming Cineroma revenue charts, red curves glaring like Florence blade cuts. She sat, legs crossing sharp, interjecting brother with shrill mocking voice. Failure then fly back Vegas, keep pouring cocktails for drunken tourists. Voss Media compensate time, small sum, enough new high heels, but not erasing shame of bartender daring big in Hollywood. Chloe's words landed like dark plot twist. Lila breathing deep, library air suddenly stifling, like Neon Oasis hookah smoke. And in that moment, bar images vivid, rum spicy, clinging skin. Victor's mocking laugh, Signor Rossi's grateful glistening eyes, all now ghosts compared this chance. She thought of mom, recounting La Dolce Vita over trailer espresso, and fear shattering again surged like Pacific waves crashing Beverly Shore. But UCLA's soul rose, sharp as Dante poetry whispered under oaks. Lila breathed deep, voice ringing firmer than expected, like rehearsed dialogue through hundreds neon shaker nights. When's the meeting with Mrs. Rossi? Damien smiled, faint, first time she saw it. Not showy director grin, but true approval, like discovering supporting character star potential. Chloe just snorted, rising iPad under arm, leaving again. But library air now shifted, like scene fading black and white to color. Rushed 3-day training starting that afternoon. Damien leading Lila to Voss Media office on Sunset Boulevard, gleaming glass tower amid blockbuster posters and waving green palms under afternoon Sunday. Office space modern maze. Transparent glass desks, large screens displaying streaming data like digital river, bookshelves full financial scripts, thick tomes with Cineroma revenue charts, where 75-year-old widow Isabella Rossi, groomed silver hair and resistance blade eyes, loathed Hollywood commercialization, seeing it crude invader into family studio soul. Lila buried in materials like UCLA linguist unearthing hieroglyphs, devouring pages, Cineroma history, from black and white resistance reels to Fellini legendary plays, Isabella's fear legacy dilution by streaming algorithms, prior M and A team failures, White-sneakered guy ejected for disrespecting subtle Italian gestures. Chloe, COO instincts sharp as film editor, visited Lila's office periodically, quizzing vague financial questions. You know Cineroma's last quarter EBITDA? Voice smug like bar crowd snickers. Lila admitted not knowing but countered UCLA psychology knowledge, sharp as bittersweet Amaro. I'm not numbers savvy, but I know Mrs. Rossi will clench hand when you mention streaming, not anger but fear losing soul, like Fellini using gestures to tell human loneliness. Maybe that matters more than EBITDA, as it steals heart. Chloe momentarily silenced, lips pursing like tense close-up. But Lila sensed confidence glimmer. She couldn't compete their financial playground, but in culture reading field, she lead star, bartender once turning lost old man friend through smooth Italian. 3 days passed like smooth action montage, quick cuts, midnight bold espresso, large screen calls with Italian experts, thick Isabella dossier with her beside late husband photos on La Dolce Vita set. Small details like old leather diary or family Fellini poster now Lila's secret weapons. But as third day sunset dyed Sunset Boulevard red, Voss Media office bathed glowing orange, Lila wondered, would this crash 3-day cram turn her bar ghost to Billion Bridge? Or failure push back Nevada desert, where dreams just neon illusions? Private jet engines roared like classic Italian action film heartbeat, slicing sparkling Mediterranean sky under Rome sun. As Lila Harlan gripped armrest. Warm Italian breeze, rushing cabin like whisper from cobblestone streets, Mom once recounted in distant trailer park. Just 3 rushed days on Sunset Boulevard, now emergency flight to Cineroma, legendary film studio tucked Rome outskirts, where black and white reels once captured Italian resistance soul, now teetering collapse under Hollywood streaming pressure. Lila wore navy midi dress stylist picked for Damien, smooth Italian silk-hugging curves, understated but respecting local culture subtlety, low heels whispering on walnut floor like reminder, this not neon oasis sticky floor, but billion stage where wrong gesture could slash her UCLA dream. Attendants smiled warm, pouring bubbly Prosecco like Tyrrhenian foam, and as jet touched Fiumicino gentle, Lila stepped out under blazing Rome sun, air carrying ripe olive and old film reel scent. Ancient breath, evoking Westwood afternoons analyzing Fellini, where human loneliness etched through quiet gestures. Black Mercedes glided narrow Trastevere streets, yellowed walls whispering history through moss, turning rusty iron gates of Cineroma, living museum complex, with arched sound stages and dusty reels dangling like lost 50s stars. Inside air heavy old nitrate film scent mixed bold espresso, evocative deep like La Dolce Vita lullaby. Lila breathing deep, calming, surging nerves. Bartender soul once dormant under Vegas neon now rising, sharp as Florence Blade murmured in Dante poetry. Voss Media team gathered on cobblestone sidewalk, small suited army with tailored vests and gleaming iPads, faces tense under harsh Italian sun, like extras awaiting director's action. Damien nodded, reassuring Lila as she exited car, eyes sweeping like editing scene. Remember, not speak for, listen, read. Chloe. Beside in cold gray Dior suit, just soft snort, whispering sharp like editor cutting scene. Try not spilling anything. This Rome, not Vegas. They entered main building, silence enveloping like dark theater pre-premiere, old reel smell wrapping Lila's skin like past cloak. Riding creaky private elevator to top floor meeting room. Solemn space with long walnut table and faded Fellini posters on walls like legacy guardian spirits. At table head, in antique brown leather armchair, sat Isabella Rossi, petite but commanding like resistance queen. Perfectly groomed silver hair framing wrinkled face with sharp green eyes. Beside 2 stern 50-something grandsons, hands light on old leather docks like silent bodyguards. Isabella's eyes lingered on Lila, a second longer, faint curiosity flashing like old camera bulb, as Damien introduced her as our cultural integration team member, not translator, but bridge. Word echoing Lila's mind like UCLA psychological script dialogue. Meeting started with iPad clacks, Chloe leading glossy presentation, streaming revenue charts, gleaming large screen like digital stars, voice cold, precise. Global market expansion, shareholder value surge. But Isabella listened, mask face inscrutable, slender hand clenching table edge like grasping late husband's final reel. After 15 minutes, Isabella raised hand, fragile but authoritative gesture, like director calling cut mid-chaos scene, interrupting in melodic Italian-laced ancient Rome accent. Enough. Signorina Voss. I've heard these empty numbers before. You speak of expanding my brand like cheap Netflix chain. You don't understand what we do here. Not revenue, but soul. Chloe's professional smile stretched, voice retorting sharp as editor blade. Mrs. Rossi, with all respect, soul doesn't pay artisans or fund film labs in competitive market. Chills swept meeting room, like mistral wind lashing Italian desert, and Antoine, Isabella's eldest grandson, stern face like Resistance film extra, spoke first time, deep, warm, protective voice. Mother finds your approach too aggressive, Signorina. This legacy, not algorithm. Argument erupted then, sides speaking different languages like mismatched films, Voss team stressing profits and global streaming, gleaming chart curves like Vegas neon but cold. Rossi family murmuring Italian film heritage, black and white reels capturing human loneliness through Fellini's subtle gestures, each frame resistance, breath, not revenue. Lila sat silent at table end, observing like UCLA linguist mid-film analysis, eyes sweeping small details, Isabella's hand light on old leather diary beside, fingers clenching like grasping husband's memory on La Dolce Vita set. Family Fellini poster on rear wall. Not famous masterpiece, but intimate shot of her grandfather filming secretly amid bombs. Vivid lines, but time faded. Those gestures whispered deeper story than numbers. Fear losing studio soul Chloe couldn't read. And amid tension like taut noir wire, Lila felt urge surging. This her scene. The moment bartender once saving lost old man with smooth Italian now stepping stage. Damien caught her eye. Light nod like silent action call. And Lila wondered, would those small details enough flipboard? Or would this meeting room close like fade to black? Leaving her Hollywood dream shattered under Rome's sun? Meeting room air at Cineroma suddenly thickened like jammed old nitrate reel in projector, as Chloe and Antoine Rossi argument echoed dry on ancient stone walls. One side gleaming streaming charts like fake Hollywood stars, other Isabella's hand-clenched gesture, like grasping late husband's soul on distant La Dolce Vita set. Lila Harlan sat table end, heart beating like Fellini drums pounding chaotic scene, where lead must choose safe silence or step spotlight. Small details she observed, old leather diary Isabella placed beside, fingers gliding like caressing Resistance memory. Family Fellini poster on wall, grandfather's vivid wartime sketch amid bullets. Now faded, but whispering subtle Italian loneliness. Not props, but keys. Linguistics gestures. UCLA taught her reading like prophet in emotional desert. Damien caught her gaze from head table, light nod like hushed action call, and Lila rose, smooth motion, navy midi dress rustling soft like Tyrrhenian wind whisper, turning her bar ghost to scene center. She didn't advance bargaining table with iPad or charts, but slow toward wall poster, fingers light touching frame edge like touching forgotten film frame, smooth Florence Italian flowing, not app mangled like Victor Kane at Neon Oasis, but warm Arno River from Mom Memories, once recounting Fellini over trailer espresso. Questo poster è magnifico, Signora Rossi, Lila whispered, voice gentle spreading room like Rome's sun slipping high windows, drowning Chloe's iPad clacks. Le linee sono così vive, com Fellini ma più intime, meno drammatiche. Un ritratto familiare, forse, non un capolavoro famoso, ma qualcosa di profondamente personale. Air suddenly hushed, like projector shut mid-climax, leaving only astonished exhales from Voss team. Chloe mouth agape wordless, Antoine leaning forward wide-eyed, and Isabella, face softening first behind stern mask. Sharp green eyes flashing surprise-laced delight, like finding lost reel from late husband. Isabella rose slow, slender hand leaving leather diary touching poster beside Lila, fingers tracing faded grandfather lines. Gaunt man amid World War bullets, camera on shoulder like secret weapon. Ha, un occhio acuto, signorina, she whispered melodic Italian, voice laced ancient Rome accent like Resistance play dialogue. Rare smile blooming wrinkled lips. she told. Not for Voss team but Lila, like two women sharing secrets on cobblestone streets. Her grandfather, wandering cinematographer amid falling bombs, founded Cineroma with secret reels capturing unbreakable Italian soul, turning Studio Fellini breath before Fellini legend. Era un visionario, Isabella continued, voice trembling light like Mistral wind through Olive Grove, filming not to sell tickets, but keep fire, every frame Italian heartbeat. Those words spread like bubbly Prosecco in meeting room, and Lila listened, truly listened. Analyzing gestures, Isabella's light hand clench mentioning fire, not anger but fear, studio soul extinguished by cold streaming algorithms. Then, like gentle UCLA psychological plot twist, Lila connected, not numbers but gestures, finger light pointing poster, like drawing new frame. Voss Media non vuole comprare una fabbrica di film, signora. Vuole proteggere una visione, come un copione classico che respira ancora. Mio fratello Damien. Lui capisce che un'azienda senza anima è solo una macchina. Lei è l'anima di Cineroma. Non veniamo a rubare, ma a custodire un'opera d'arte. Meeting room sank silence, heavy like waiting nitrate reel for play, and Lila, emotions surging, revealed family secret 3-day dossier untouched. Mom, resilient woman once waitressing small Vegas Italian spot raising daughter, Fellini fanatic from youth, once crying beside La Dolce Vita screen in dark trailer, whispering to Lila film gestures language of loneliness she knew best after dad left. Mia madre, Lila whispered, voice lightly breaking like neon oasis night's bittersweet amaro. Amava Fellini perché vedeva se stessa nei gesti, una donna sola che teneva accesa la luce per me. Come lei con Cineroma. Isabella paused, eyes locking Lila's, emotional stream flowing wrinkled face. Not pity, but recognition, like two lost souls finding each other amid memory bombs and modern algorithms. Silence enveloped meeting room like emotional fade to black, Chloe gawking iPad nearly dropping, Antoine whispering Italian to brother, Damien sitting still, eyes gleaming silent approval. Isabella turned to him slow, voice ringing proud. Suo padre era un tecnico del suono, vero? Un uomo che capiva I silenzi nei film. Damien nodded. First words since meeting start. Sì, mi ha insegnato che il suono è tutto, il battito sotto le immagini. Mrs. Rossi smiled truly, warm like Tuscan sun smile, whispering. Forse, la prossima settimana, prendiamo un caffè, senza presentazioni, solo noi. Eyes lingering on Lila. I porti la signorina Harlan con lei. Return Mercedes ride surreal, vos team buzzing excitement under Rome sun. Clapping Damien like extras cheering spectacular take, first progress after month deadlock. Chloe silent, face shock mingled fury like editor witnessing unplotted twist. But carboarding, she turned Lila. Una fortuna con un poster vecchio, non è un copione, è un gioco da salotto. Damien firm reply, no, è empatia, quello che il nostro team non ha fatto. But as car glided Trastevere, afternoon sun dyeing yellowed walls red, Lila leaned head on glass, wondering, would next week coffee true turning point, or just Fellini illusion, where Italian soul and Hollywood dream collided birthing something grander, or shattering? Lila Harlan leaned against curved glass railing, night wind carrying jasmine mixed olive from Rome memories wrapping her skin, gentle breath, dispelling lingering Nevada desert dust, on now slightly wrinkled navy midi dress after negotiation week. Laughter erupted from party below. Champagne glass clinks from Voss team, cheering Cineroma deal signed under Tuscan sun, where Isabella Rossi now creative advisor, turning resistant studio digital theater keeping Fellini's soul. But for Lila, sounds distant like neon oasis EDM, old world now just garish neon ghost. She rested hands on cool glass, fingers gliding smooth surface, rebirth sensation surging like Pacific waves crashing Beverly Shore, from lost bartender shaking amid hookah smoke and Victor Kane mockery, to Billion Bridge reading Isabella's gestures through faded poster, UCLA soul now sighing relief, no longer buried under rum dust and mom's medical bills. But amid victory, unease crept, like noir final plot twist, where gleaming reward could be new glass cage, obscuring her true voice. Damien Voss stepped from glass hallway shadows, simple whiskey glass in hand, glinting under stars like first, neon oasis dark corner night. Tall frame moving smooth like director cutting chaos. He stopped beside, rooftop space suddenly intimate frame, night wind whispering through green palms like cut dialogue from Fellini script. In comfortable silent beat, he sipped whiskey, deep warm voice rising like backstage whisper. She gave Voss Media chance. Lila, more than any expert team, turning Isabella's hand-clenched gesture into bridge from Tuscan olive grove to global streaming, where Cineroma Soul now gleamed lossless. He restated library offer from 3 days ago, voice gentle but firm like final edit. Cultural integration specialist role with six-figure Hollywood star gleam. Beverly Hills housing allowance overlooking Pacific, blank check for UCLA degree, finishing interrupted linguistics dream by mom's heart attack, turning Westwood afternoons reality analyzing Italian film gestures instead of reading drunken tourists at bar. Reward, he said, new life on silver platter, where dusty trailer park and clinking shaker just time-faded memories like Cineroma wall Fellini poster. But Lila turned to him, stars reflecting in now Florence Blade's sharp gray-blue eyes, and in that moment, soul, once dormant under Vegas neon, rose full courage, not Victor Mockery bowing bartender, but UCLA linguist once murmuring Dante poetry soothing mom-left loneliness. She breathed deep, night wind jasmine rapping words, counter-negotiating firm voice smooth as Tuscan sun Arno River, not handout, Damien, but true investment, granting her leading Cineroma project role, not assistant specialist but head team, with own budget and staff turning streaming into artisan storytelling digital theater. She sketched clear KPIs like film script, double views in 2 years keeping legacy soul intact, where Isabella's grandfather resistance gestures gleamed global screens undiluted by cold algorithms. Success then, granting small but real stake in subsidiary, Voss Empire piece she could call hers. And UCLA tuition, she'd pay from salary, not pity blank check, because that dream now hers alone, forged through hookah smoke shaker nights, and saving lost Rossi old man with warm Italian. Words flowed like emotional montage, laced light amusement. Imagine Damien, bartender once mixing over cold martini for arrogant jerk, now negotiating billions with Fellini gestures. Who says Hollywood not stage for desert plot twists? Making him pause, whiskey glass midair, sharp brown eyes widening true surprise, like director witnessing supporting steel spotlight. Then, Damien laughed, not faint library approval smile, but big laugh echoing rooftop like sudden Vegas, EDM beat drop, face shifting under California stars, eye lines sparkling genuine delight. UCLA dropout bartender once pouring me whiskey in dark bar corner now negotiating billion stakes with Fellini KPIs. He shook head, voice mixing awe and admiration, like editing own life script anew. Knew my gut right about you, Lila Harlan, just not how right. He extended hand, firm with script reading all-nighter calluses, and Lila grasped, current surging between, not polite deal handshake, but soul contract, vibrating like final neon oasis shaker clink, closing dusty desert chapter with Victor Kane and lost Rossi old man, opening explosive Hollywood chapter where her voice echoed from Tuscan olive grove to global screens. Lila no longer bar ghost, woman finding voice in many ways, through mom's La Dolce Vita gestures, through Italian saving chaotic night, now through billion negotiation under Beverly Hills stars. Voss Estate now true home, not cage but stage, where UCLA dreams side relief and her soul, once bleeding under neon, now gleamed like true star. But as night wind whispered through palms, party laughter wafting up like new chapter call, Lila wondered, would that small stake key unlocking own empire, or just opener for larger plot twist, where Hollywood tested her voice to final limit? Lila Harlan's story not just lucky plot twist under Las Vegas's garish neon, it's deep healing reminder that, whether shaking shaker amid hookah smoke and Victor Kane mockery, or trudging the strip sidewalks with old suitcase full medical bills, your hidden talent waits kind moment to burst. That smooth Florence Italian saving lost Rossi old man, no accident, but mom's whisper, resilient woman once performing La Dolce Vita in dark trailer shaking glass like Marcello Mastroianni, turning loneliness into gesture power lesson. Lila not just built bridge from Nevada desert to Tuscan olive grove, She healed own soul cracks, turning mom loss pain into shared language with Isabella Rossi, where each Fellini frame now gleamed streaming lossless resistance soul. Lesson echoes like final EDM beat drop. Don't let past, debt, loss, or weary neon nights lock dreams. Courage stepping private. Learjet key opening Hollywood door. Where your voice not wasted on overcold martinis, but echoes like billion-dollar script. And if Lila has part 2, where family secrets lead inspirational film about mom, story of Italian exile in Vegas, turning trailer park into inner theater. Wanna see? Comment below if craving sequel, share your burst moment feelings. Ever had Signor Rossi lost changing all? Subscribe channel and bell for next Hollywood journey miss. Watching from where at what time? Thrilled your company here. Share this video with US kin and friends. Together, we turn whispers to roars.